Hey everybody, Mark here again. So I thought I would take a quick look at my new OS3 HO All Pro Elite. This is the wiperless version. I actually intended to get the one with the wiper, but it's always sold out. So I was like, you know what? My wife wanted to get it for me for Christmas. So she's like, get that one. So I'm like, all right, I'll try the wiperless one. And I'm glad I got it. I really like it. It's as you can imagine, it's a very smooth trigger, which I like. I mean, my DeFalcos are very smooth as well. I mean, you can feel a little bit with the wiper, but this is still a very smooth controller. More importantly, so far my early results with the OS3 have been pretty favorable. I just ran actually a little experiment. I did 15 laps with the same car on the same lane with each one of these controllers, and I actually came out a little bit better with the OS3 as far as a best lap time and median lap time. Not by much, by I think my median lap was 2.8 with the DeFalco, 2.8 something, and it was 2.7 something with the OS3, and my best lap was like 2.6 something with each one of the controllers. So the good news is I'm not getting worse with this controller. I do like how it feels. It's a little smaller. Like you can see kind of the controller does not stick out past the bottom of my hand where the DeFalco does. I still like this. I think this is my most comfortable handle. I just really like how this DeFalco feels. The DeFalco is also lighter. This controller is a little bit top heavy, obviously, I guess because of everything that's going on up here with all the controls. But it still feels good in the hand. The trigger, nothing gets in the way. It's not hitting my other finger. With the True Speed controller, I felt like the trigger was hitting this finger, but this one doesn't. It just barely clears. I really don't have that problem with the DeFalco. You can see it's much further away. So it's comfortable. It's not super heavy. It is heavier than the DeFalco. My DeFalco I have, and it's interesting, the sensitivity is the opposite way. So the lower end is on the right, and on this controller, the lower end is on the left. So I got to get used to that difference. Same 100 ohm brake pot, and the DeFalco has what they call traction control, whereas the OS3 has the sensitivity, it has a choke setting, and it has brake and coast. And I'm starting to really like the coast feature. I was never big on brakes with my mostly high downforce cars. But the coast is kind of cool. You can set the coast so that the car will start going without even really touching the trigger. And the more you turn the coast down, the quicker the car will go without even having anything on you're completely off the throttle. So I like coming into the turns using the coast feature rather than the brake feature. And this top little switch with the C and the B, if you switch it to the left, this knob adjusts your coast. If you switch it to the right, it adjusts the brakes. And if you put it in the middle, neither brakes or coast are selected. The bottom switch changes the sensitivity. There's a T and an M and a middle position. The T is more geared for T-Jet type cars. The middle position is the most commonly used one for most HO cars, and it's the one I use the most. I have this set to 2, and it happens to be on my DeFalco. I also set to 2. So when I was running my tests, I had the same response on the trigger set to 2. So the sensitivity for both these controllers, at least for me, is very similar. If you switch it over to M, which is supposed to be used for like really high downforce type cars, it just makes the sensitivity way too, like, I had it all the way on 1 and I was barely touching the trigger and the car was taking off. So the middle section, the middle option is the best one for the sensitivity. The choke works similar to the traction control. It just kind of changes the response of the trigger. You can slow it down more. And this also has what's called a kill switch for maximum speed. This button here. I keep that off so that basically if you turn that on, when you hit full post, you're not running at actual full track voltage apparently. I guess maybe for newer drivers, it was explained you might want that, or for maybe a road course with a lot of turns and no straightaways, you might want to use that setting. And it's protected by a 5 amp, like mini car type fuse. And then it has this interesting little, I'm not even sure what this is, but this is what adjusts the speed when you are hitting the trigger. There wasn't really any settings for the trigger tension. It is what it is based on the spring that they have in there. It seems very well built, very sturdy. I put a little twist tie. It came not, all these wires were loose, so I twisted them myself and put a little twist tie on there. And I like this piece of metal in here acts as a pretty beefy heat sink, so all the electronics are attached to that. So the potentiometers don't get hot at all. The controller doesn't really get hot at all. So it's a $250 controller. So at that price point, you would expect it to be a pretty decent controller. This is basically, I think with the traction control, it's almost like $196, I think, for the DeFalco. So they're both very good controllers. I race well with both of them, but I'm gonna give the OS3 right now the slight edge, and I really like how smooth this wiperless trigger is. So, but I got a lot more testing and driving to do with it. So that's about it. I just wanted to give a quick rundown on my thoughts so far on this OS3 and how it compares to my DeFalco. Is it worth the extra $50 to have the wiperless? I don't know. I'd have to see one with the wiper to compare it to this one, but I would imagine it would be very similar to my DeFalco. I'm sure I'd be perfectly happy with the wiper version of this one as well. And this doesn't fit in my holders, unfortunately. It's too wide to fit in the controller holders, unless I cut out a notch. And what else? What else did Santa brought me? Some stickers that my daughter had made from Mark's Slot Car Garage. So these are some Christmas gifts. My other daughter got me an AFX Mega G Plus Camaro. Cool car. And my older daughter also had the table skirt made for me with my logo, which I think really looks nice. She did a great job on that. She's the one that actually designed my logo as well. So anyway, that's it. Just thought I'd give you a quick update on what Santa brought me and a quick little review of this this OS3 controller, which so far I give a thumbs up. I really like it. Good controller. All right, guys, thanks. And I hope everybody has a real safe and happy new year, and looking forward to spending a lot more time in the garage in 2024 with you all. So happy new year.